Holocaust scholars from the first generation were incredibly anxious of knowing if there would be a second generation and if the voice of the people who suffered through the Holocaust will be heard. The book today, To Look a Nazi in the Eyes, done by Kacer and Jordana Lebowitz, prove that indeed the flame has been transmitted to new generation because of the voice of this young lady, which resonates so strongly in this book. It may, at first sight, appears to be a youth literature kind of book. At second and precise reading, it was, yes, a youth speaking, but it is an entire generation that we can hear through their words. I was an active participant in the Zundel trials in 1988, it's a long time, and I lived a lot of the emotion and activities of Jordana fighting the administration of justice, the administration of all inside. And to be confronted and see on a daily basis for some time a Holocaust denier close by. Reading the book of Kacer and Lebowitz, I can attest today of the correctness and truthfulness of what is described. And I was intimately touched by the voice of Jordana and for what Kathy Kacer was able to express so well. So we have here coming the voice of the next generation. Jordana, Kathy, please.
I'm going to start here. So I'd like to start by thanking the Canadian Jewish Literary Awards Committee members, thank you Alain, who selected this book to receive this wonderful award. I know I speak for both of us when I say it's an honor, and we're grateful to be here to accept it. I'd also like to thank Second Story Press, second time, the publisher of To Look a Nazi in the Eye, headed by the remarkable Margie Wolf. This is my 10th book with Second Story, and I know there will be more to come. So I had been following the trial of Oskar Grönig for a long time. I was drawn to the story of one of the last Nazi war criminals to ever stand trial. And I was looking for a way to write about this historic moment in history. I couldn't find it until I read an article about this remarkable young woman, Jordana Lebowitz. At the age of 19, Jordana decided that she wanted to travel to Germany to be an observer at the trial of Oskar Grönig. She wanted to be in the courtroom to listen to his testimony. She wanted to hear the Holocaust survivors who were going to be testifying against him speak and confront the man who had been responsible for the deaths of all their family members. She wanted to be a witness to history and to be able to be an effective spokesperson for this history for her generation. I knew that Jordana's perspective was the perfect lens through which I could tell this story. I contacted her, and we began the journey of unraveling the many layers of the trial of Oskar Grönig and Jordana's journey to be there and witness it. I was struck from the very beginning by Jordana's passion, her depth of feeling, and her remarkable determination. Her story of how she managed to get to the trial, how she managed to get into the courtroom each day, how she befriended the Holocaust survivors who testified, how she confronted Oskar Grünig himself. All those elements that are documented in the book are as compelling as the trial itself. Some people have questioned whether the trial of Oskar Grünig was worth it. He was, after all, 94 years old when he stood trial, decades after the crimes for which he had been accused. He was frail and unwell. He actually died before he could ever fulfill his sentence of only 4 years. But I will always remember the words of Bill Gleed, one of the survivors who testified at the Grünig trial. Sadly, Bill himself died this past year. When asked what it meant to bring Oskar Grünig to trial, Bill said, "Oskar Grünig was only one cog in the wheel, one of many who worked in the killing factory that was Auschwitz. But that wheel could not have turned without each and every cog." I've made it my life's work to capture the stories of this time in history, mostly the stories of survivors, and pass them on. But I know, as Alain said, that the passing on of these stories cannot end with me and my generation. I always say, thank goodness for young people like Jordana, who will continue to ensure that the history is not lost. Hers is a powerful voice, and as the community of Holocaust survivors ages and their voices are no longer here, I'm confident that Jordana will take up the mantle of keeping that history alive and encouraging others of her generation to do the same. So I'd like to pass the microphone on to Jordana.
Sometimes in life, you feel a pull towards something, a person, a journey, an experience. We don't choose when we feel this pull, but we do choose when to seize it. We are living in a time where the Holocaust is fading from recent memory, and the crucial, ever-relevant, universal messages are becoming blurred. My generation is the last generation that is going to be able to hear from those that can attest to the fact that this crime happened. And we are the ones that are going to take this proof into the future, shining a light on the dangers of hatred and dehumanization. Elie Wiesel says that those that hear from a witness become a witness. We are now the witnesses. We carry this burden and this honor because we are committed to ensuring a better fate for humankind. We are dedicated to eliminating baseless hatred and intolerance. We pledge to carry on the legacies of all that suffered, the ones that survived and the ones that did not make it to Liberation Day. And we will ensure that those that perished did not die in vain. I want to show them that the world learned something from their suffering and their torture. We learned to be a better world. I just flew in from New York, where I currently work in the Holocaust Education Department at the United Nations. Each day we work together in my department and throughout the complex to do just that, to build a better world than that which my grandparents and their generation endured. Aside from that, I work tirelessly to create engaging Holocaust education programming focused on inspiring young people to each do our part. From seizing the opportunity of attending the trial and experiencing this moment in history, I learned about the power of one, the potential of one person to succeed, to transform, and to destroy. Moreover, I saw the power of many. Humanity coming together can uphold an ideal of justice that transcends generations. Humanity can also sink to the depths of immorality and commit unimaginable acts of evil, whitewashed under the excuse of following orders. I learned about responsibility to stand up against injustice and for each other's struggles as human beings, responsibility to carry on the legacies of all that existed before, and finally, the responsibility to create a better tomorrow. Someone very special who seized the opportunity to tell this story and inspire young people is my co-author, Kacer, my role model and dear friend as well. I'm truly blessed to have been able to work on this project with her for the last few years. It all started with a message over Facebook, and it changed my life forever. Kathy inspires me with her passion, her care, and the eloquence of her words. She has a way of speaking to young people which makes them listen and helps them understand. Kathy's words give shape to my story and a channel to bring it into the world. We have developed a strong bond and trust for each other, and I'm comforted at this critical point in history that Kathy's words will forever be touching the lives of young people. I want to thank Second Story Press for publishing our book and the Canadian Jewish Literary Award Selection Committee for choosing our book. It is truly an honor to be accepting this award and standing before you today. I could never have imagined that I would ever be in this spot. Finally, I would like to thank my family and my parents who have supported me since day one. They not only taught me, but also demonstrated for me the power of going after your dreams and seizing every opportunity. They have always encouraged me, nurtured me, and supported me, and I would not be here in any sense without them. In honor of those who suffered during the hell of the Holocaust and those who continue to suffer today, we will accept the torch of history passed on from our ancestors, burning with built-up resilience, fueled with pain felt, lives lost, and evil bred. With this torch, we, the readers and writers of today, will create a better tomorrow. Thank you.